What's up, guys? John Brady III here. We're back again for another video, and it's 2025. Happy New Year. Big things coming for the channel. We got some stuff that we're going to tweak for this year's videos. We want to start adding in some stuff, so make sure you stay tuned. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button and that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever a new video drops and hits the channel. So I was trying to decide what video that I was going to start the year off with. And I got to thinking, I was looking at all the reels I have behind me, looking at all the rods that I have over here, trying to figure out, well, what would be good? What haven't I talked about? So today's video, we're going to talk about my top 5 all around favorite Lews reels. So I'm going to go from number 5 to all the way to my number 1 top favorite reel in my entire arsenal. Now, I did a lot of thinking. And after looking at these, and I didn't realize, but reels that I really like the most, I have multiples of, and even multiple generations of. So that's what we're going to jump into. So without further ado, number 5. My number 5, top 5 favorite reel in my arsenal is $99 Speed Spool. So this is Gen 2. Y'all have seen the video of why I think the $99 Speed Spool is the best $100 reel on the market. You've seen the review of the Gen 3 that I did as well. So, I mean, why is this number 5 one of my top 5 favorite reels? I mean, it's a do-all reel, and it's for a great price. And you can find the Gen 2s on sale. I think somebody said for like 60 bucks or something like that. So you can find Gen 2s, grab that. But if not, go ahead and grab the new one, the Gen 3s. But I just really enjoy fishing with the Speed Spool overall. It's just a great reel. Very simplistic. Nothing fancy about it. It's not pretty looking. It's just, I guess you call it like a matte black slash gun smokish grayish color. And I mean, there's nothing really fancy about the reel, but the reel just runs. And I think that's why I like it. Like, it's a simplistic reel. I can beat this reel to death and it's gonna run. And I think that's why I like it the most. I have 3 of these actually, of the Gen 2s in my arsenal. I have a 6.8 for cranking, and I got 2 7.5s just for whatever do all. And if I'm going pond hopping, I'll pick this reel up. If I'm going fishing with a buddy, maybe co-angling, I pick this reel up. Or whenever, I just always pick this reel up. Like, I at least have 1 of the 3 on my rod deck at all times because it's fun to fish with. It's very simplistic, not a whole lot of glitz and glamour to this reel. It's just a workhorse, and that's why I like it. All right. Number 4 is the Custom Light. So I have 3 of the regular Custom Light models, and I have 1 of the Custom Light shallow spools. They all come in 7.5 to 1. And I like this reel simply because you can cast this thing a long way, and especially for lightweight baits. That's what this reel was designed for. So it holds 90 yards of 12. So I think that is a great all-around size. So 2 of these I was using for cranking purposes, more so for throwing like a gravel dog or 1.5 flat, some of those lighter baits that are a little bit hard to throw. That's what I was using this for. But going into this season right here, I'm actually changing what 2 of them are going to be for. The third one I have, I actually did an unboxing video of that maybe a few weeks ago. I'm actually going to use that one for light Texas rigs. So 17-pound line, getting back to my roots of how I started bass fishing. And I love to throw a 3/16-ounce weight with a fat baby finesse worm, 4-hour owner, straight shank, offset wide gap worm hook, and throw it on a medium heavy to a heavy power rod. Really depends on what the rod is, but that's literally my setup. And so I enjoy fishing that way because that's how I started. And that's why I bought that reel again, just to kind of take me back to my bread and butter, I guess you could say. So again, Custom Light, great reel, super lightweight, 4.9 ounces. This is the lightest weight reel that I have in my arsenal. And it's actually a little bit lighter than the Custom Light shallow spool, which you would think with the shallower spool it would be lighter, but this one is actually a little bit lighter. But you're not going to really be able to tell that much of a difference because this is 4.8, 4.9, and the Custom Light shallow spool is 5 ounces. So you're not going to be able to tell that point, I don't know, that 0.6, 0.7 ounce difference. So anyway, definitely a reel worth having in your arsenal. I've thrown jerk baits on this. Like I said, small crankbaits, thrown a little bit of everything, and then Texas rig. So great reel to have in your arsenal. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is Team Lews Hyper Mag. Now, I said at the beginning of the video I would have multiple generations. I have Gen 1 Hyper Mag, Gen 2 Hyper Mag. And so, love these. From hybrid hunters to swim worms to flipping to bladed jigs, everything. These reels right here are straight do-alls. They come in 2 gear ratio, 7.5 and 8.3. I have all 7.5s. And 7.5 to me means that I could do a lot more with it than an 8.3. 8.3 tends to pigeonhole what I can use it for. So 7.5 to 1 and all 3, because again, they're do-all workhorse reels. 5.2 ounces, magnesium frame, super lightweight, and again, they look cool just because of the silver material. And again, like, they just run. Like, that's the only thing that I can really say about this reel, that these reels run. One thing that I like about Gen 2 over Gen 1 is the knobs. So in Gen 1, you had these fat knobs on here, whereas Gen 2, you had the JDM inspired smaller wind grip knobs. And contrary to belief, you would think a fatter knob means you get better grip. For me, that's not how it works. And I don't know why. I can hold on to the skinnier knobs a lot better than I can the fat knobs. So that's why I like the Hyper Mag and I guess you could say the Gen 2 model with the JDM inspired wind grips. Now, I've thrown football jigs on this as well. I've literally done everything with this reel, aside from cranking, like, because I mentioned that I've thrown smaller crankbaits with the 7.5, but I really don't like doing that, which is why I switched reels, and you're going to find out what that reel is. But again, I've done literally everything with this reel, and I keep looking over at my tackle wall just so I can figure out, make sure I ain't missing anything. But I literally have done everything with this reel, and it has never failed me at all. Gen 1 or Gen 2, they run. And normally, again, like, one of these reels is actually a hybrid hunter reel that I use, the reel that I use for the hybrid hunter. And so, but again, like, I've had 17 pound on here, and one of the other Gen 2 I have actually has 20. And so that was a reel that I like to flip with and stuff like that as well. And then when I had our district championship on Santee, I was actually using that reel on the Elite TI rod with the 20 pound line, skipping a Magnum cutter worm under docks and stuff and catching fish and snatching them up out of there. So love this reel, great reel to fish with, and it's a workhorse. A lot of the Lews Pro staff, that was their go-to reel for a long time, the Hyper Mag. So it's a great reel. It's definitely worth the buy. If you can afford that reel, definitely go ahead and get that one, because it looks cool, it's lightweight, and it fishes well, and it's a workhorse. So definitely check that out. Number 2. Can you guess what number 2 is? Anyway, number 2 is Team Lews Pro TI. And you see, I got both generations. I got 2 Gen 1s and 1 Gen 2. And so, and yeah, this is actually my original Gen 1 right here. I've had this one for this should be the 5th season that I've had this reel. So if you've ever questioned longevity, there you go. That's this season number 5 for this reel. And I've caught lots of big fish on that reel. So the Pro TI, what is this reel used for in my arsenal? This is my bladed jig reel, the Gen 2 is. And again, you see it got the smaller JDM knobs compared to Gen 1 with the fatter knobs, just like on the Hyper Mag. But I love this reel. Like, I can sling a bladed jig a long way. I can on a full spool, making a very long cast, I can just about, really close, just about spool maybe 3/4 of the line off of this reel, making a very, very long cast. And I pair this reel onto the Andy Montgomery bladed jig rod, Signature Series 7.3 medium heavy fast. And I love this thing. Like, it just feels really good, super smooth. The only downside of this, and I don't like to fish in the cold, but if you follow Michael Knapp, this reel right here gets really, really cold in your hand, and you can definitely tell. But I don't fish a whole lot in the cold. My season normally starts late January and early February, which in the Carolinas it's still cold, but I'm not throwing a bladed jig that time of year. So these really don't come out till like springtime, so late February, early March, basically through give or take late October, early November, depending on how the weather looking and stuff like that. But again, I always have a bladed jig rigged up on this reel, and it's just my favorite. Now, originally when I first got my Gen 1, I actually got it as a combo. It was a Pro TI rod. It was a 610, might have been a 610 medium heavy. I think that was the rod. I don't have the rod anymore. But I threw a light Texas rig with it. And that combo was probably the lightest combo I've ever had in hand. And it was the most sensitive combo that I ever had in hand. I could feel every little tick on the rod, and the reel could throw light Texas rigs very well. Because again, going back to my roots, throwing a lightweight Texas rig was always my go-to. So that is why I love the Pro TI, because you can throw lightweight baits very well, and you can throw heavier baits real well. I mean, I don't know a reel that you can't throw a heavier weight bait or any type technique with, but it's always the smaller baits that where I guess you could say that's where the trouble comes in at. And so from the speed spool all the way up to this Pro TI that I have, these reels can throw lightweight baits very well. And so that's why I enjoy fishing with them. But and number 2 is my Pro TI. Again, really enjoy this reel. I have, like I said, I got 2 Gen 2s, 1 Gen 1. Now, number 1. You've seen one of these reels in a couple different videos over the last couple months since this reel released. But that reel is the Custom Pro. Now, this reel isn't my number 1 reel because it's new on the market, and you see a lot of the Lews guys pushing this reel. This reel is my number 1 because of this bad boy right here, the Gen 2 model. I really loved fishing the Gen 2 model. This was by far my favorite reel in the entire arsenal until Gen 3 came about. The reason why Gen 3 trumps Gen 2 is the braking system. As I mentioned, and if you haven't watched my older videos on the Gen 3 Custom Pro, go check them out. As we talked about the braking system, this has the Paramac ITB braking system. And again, what it does, it has a ring in there, and it's called the turbo disc, and it goes in and out like this. And the way that the brakes face in the reel, it allows you to have full contact of the brakes. And as you're making the cast, the brakes are keeping very good contact with the spool so that you can have minimal backlashes. But again, go watch my other videos where you can actually see how the braking system actually works, because there's an actual video showing you how the magnetic brakes and how the spool are working together when you're making a long cast. But anyway, this is not the video for all the super technical stuff. But that's why this is my number 1 favorite reel, because of Gen 2. Now, I'm going to show you something. This reel right here is kind of special. This is Gen 1 Custom Pro. And this one actually was Shaw Grigsby reel. That was actually one of his reels. But the Gen 2, I bought one and I was like, man, this reel right here is fire. So anytime I buy a reel, and especially if they're on the pricier end, so these are priced at $279. And I know I didn't give all the prices of all these reels, but with this reel being priced at $279, I feel like that is above your average reel. And I'm like, I had to find a dedicated technique for this reel, but I can do so much with this because the Custom Pro comes in 3 gear ratios, 6.8, 7.5, and 8.3. And so the new Gen 3 Custom Pro, I have 2 6.8s for cranking. Remember, I told you I was cranking with the Custom Light. So I bought 2 6.8s of the Gen 3 Custom Pros so I can have that little bit slower gear ratio, but I still can make very long casts with this reel. Now, I have one 7.5 of the Gen 3s, and that is a do-all jig / Texas rig reel. And it's kind of like my bottom contact reel, but anything close quarter when I don't want to use the Pro SP. But next year, and I have 2 Gen 2s. One of them has braid on it, and I was throwing top water, but I'm actually going to switch that later. So one of my Gen 2s is actually going to be for throwing lightweight Texas rigs. And when I say lightweight Texas rig, because you heard me talk about the Custom Light for my light Texas rigs, but this one is going to be dedicated for throwing a stick bait like the Ocho or Cinco. So we talking 1/8 ounce weight and whatever the stick bait is for our hook, skipping it under laydowns, cypress trees, docks, and stuff like that. This reel is great with lightweight baits and it fishes so well, and I love the frame. It has the same frame as the Custom Light, but the Custom Light's still a tad bit lighter, but and actually the Gen 2 Custom Pro and the Custom Light have the same braking system, the ACB, but I'm just very partial to this reel because I actually had the Custom Pro before I had the Custom Light. So, but again, Gen 3, love this reel by far. So if I had to pick Gen 2 over Gen 3, which one I'm gonna pick? I mean, there's no lose on this situation right here. It's actually a win-win. The Gen 3 actually has a smaller frame than Gen 2, but I mean, my hand size, I have average hands, but they're a little bit wider, kind of beefy. But I just like the smaller weight reel. I'm liking lighter weight combos, lighter weight reels, and just smaller compact reels. Because, I mean, the grand scheme of things, you don't need all these big, super heavy duty reels to be fishing with today. Like, you just really don't. So, anyway, that is my top 5. So, if you're just now coming into this video, and we're going to do a quick recap. Number 5 was the $99 Speed Spool. Great reel, best $100 reel on the market, point blank period. Number 4 was the Custom Light. Great for throwing lightweight baits, jerk baits, light Texas rigs, anything weightless, great reel for that. Number 3 was the Hypermag. I mean, 5.2 ounces, straight workhorse. It's cool looking, magnesium frame. I mean, great reel to fish with. Number 2 was the Pro TI. Love that reel. I had Gen 2 for 4 years. It's going on the 5th season right here. Still running. Love it. Never had any issues with it. And number 1, Custom Pro. I fell in love with the Custom Pro. I've had it for, actually one of my Gen 2s I've had since 2022. So this is going on 3rd season for that. Love it. And then now I got 3 Gen 3s up here. So again, man, you just can't go wrong with any of my top 5 reels. Let me know in the comment section, what is your favorite Lews reel that you have in your arsenal? Let me know that in the comment section. And which one of these Lews reels actually do you have in your arsenal? Out of my top 5, which ones do you have in your arsenal? So let me know that also in the comments. So that's it for today's video. That's my top 5. I appreciate you tuning in. I'm JB3. I got to get back to living the dream. I'll catch you later.